If you're here, you're likely interested in an alternative approach to therapy. Possibly you've done therapy and you've got some results and you've been happy with your therapist, but you feel stuck, like you can't quite get to the root of what's going on for you. Particularly if you've experienced trauma, this might be true. And what I'm going to talk to you about is exactly this: how to get to the root to heal on a more comprehensive, whole person level. An alternative approach, or a more comprehensive approach to working with trauma, is a holistic trauma therapy approach. So let's take a look. So what is holistic trauma therapy? Well, in essence, holistic trauma therapy is a form of trauma therapy that sees all of you: mind, body, spirit, and emotions. So it takes into account all of these areas of the being, not just one part of you. Imagine it like a baby's mobile, those mobiles you have over babies' cribs. When you move one piece, the whole thing moves. And it's the same in our being. How our bodies are affected by trauma or other ailments affects our thoughts, it affects our emotions, and vice versa. So let's say you can't get sleep because of ruminating thoughts, and then you wake up and you don't feel good in your body, and then you have negative thoughts, and then it affects your relationships, and then it's this feedback loop. So in traditional approaches, you might have worked with those thoughts, and it's important to work with your thoughts, but it's not sufficient. I went to law school, and there's a saying that I've always loved, which is necessary but not sufficient. So it's necessary to work with those thoughts, but it's not sufficient. Think of it like baking a cake. It's necessary to have flour, like gluten-free flour, flour, whatever flour it is, you need that base. But that's not enough to have a cake. You also need egg, or if you're vegan, an egg replacement and some sweetener, and then you have a cake. The same for healing. A holistic view sees that we do need to work with the thoughts, but we also need to work with your body. We need to work with your emotions and however you conceive yourself as a spirit. So let's break it down a little. A holistic trauma approach doesn't start with the thoughts. We look at what's happening in your body. Where do you hold tension? Where is there gripping or even numbness? That's information. Research shows that trauma stores in the body. You might know Bessel van der Kolk's book, The Body Keeps Score. And what that really means is that we're holding trauma in our body. Even yoga practitioners will talk about this. They say your emotions are held in your hips. Our body and our brain stores these traumas and these anxieties. And what we want to do is listen to those body cues first and foremost. And that might even feel challenging to listen to your body cues, because sometimes the body wasn't a safe place to reside. So numbness is often a common response. How do you listen to your body cues if you feel numb? Well, that is a body cue. That is information. And that's where we want to work. There's different therapies that really focus on the body, and they help you to reconnect with your body in a safe way, amongst other things. So a holistic approach would give you the opportunity to work with these forms of therapies: somatic experiencing, which was founded by Peter Levine; sensory motor therapy, or Hakomi; therapies like EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, and brain spotting. And these particular therapies work with the limbic system in your brain. They work with what's called the subcortical part of your brain, and that's known to hold these traumas. So you might be talking a lot about your trauma in talk therapy, and it feels good to get attunement with a therapist, which is so important. And you may have worked out a lot there, but perhaps there's stuff that's stuck. And what might be happening is you haven't accessed those traumas and those memories at the root where they are in this part of your brain. And that's where brain spotting and EMDR and other forms of therapy come into play. Now, if we moved from the body to the emotions, we could talk a little bit about forms of therapy that help you to facilitate expressing your emotions or connecting with your emotions non-verbally. So some examples of these could be art therapy or music therapy, and these can help you to express yourself through color and form and shape in ways that might be hard to access if you're just working with words. Often words are hard to find. And then when we move from our emotions to our thoughts, we think about some approaches like trauma-informed cognitive behavioral therapy that really focuses on what we call maladaptive thoughts, or these beliefs that formed. They can be called blocking beliefs or false beliefs or cognitive distortions. There's a lot of ways to label them, but they're essentially those beliefs that tell you you're not enough, I can't get it right, I'm stupid, people can't be trusted, amongst other beliefs like this. On a spiritual level, for some, that could be religion. It might be for you religion, which is wonderful. You have a community and you have a faith that really supports you in your healing process. But maybe that's not you. You might be seeing spirit as the universe or energy or quantum mechanics and our connection and how we're all one or unified. Perhaps that's not you. You might be someone who connects to nature, and nature is your sanctuary. That's your temple. And you connect with yourself most when you're in connection with nature. However you connect to your spirit and your soul, your core energy, your core self, that's also important and is taken into account in a holistic approach to trauma therapy. And finally, I want to add that your cultural history, your beliefs, your culture, your values are also important to take into account because we're informed by our history, by generations before us. We're also informed by the larger culture and society. It's not just about what you've experienced as an isolated being, but what has impacted you from a larger level, from a familial level, from a cultural level, and a societal level. So that's a lot of moving parts, but that's what's integrated. That's why I love a holistic approach to trauma therapy. I love this because you have so many tools you can work with. I have a number of tools in my tool basket. I have my degree in expressive arts therapy. I do EMDR and brainspotting and nature therapy. I've also done certifications in somatic approaches. So in any given session, I might be working with a number of these in what I call a multimodal approach. Sometimes it's helpful for a particular person to lean into one of those approaches to access that part of themselves. The beauty is it's tailored to your particular blueprint. We all have this inner wisdom. You have this inner wisdom. Your body and your being knows what path is going to be right for you and what's going to open you up. And this is what I love about a holistic approach to trauma therapy, is that it's so creative. I feel honestly in awe and in so much gratitude when I'm working with my clients, and we're organically creating this path that can help them get to the core and get to that root. So there's so much more to share about this. I just want to introduce it to you. For today, that's a lot to chew on, so I'm going to bid adieu.
What did she say?
So I'm going to bid adieu. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. From my heart to yours. Take good care.
Hi, everybody. Would you subscribe, please? It'll make the whole world a better place. Or at least yours, I hope. Thank you.
This video is inspired by the Holistic Trauma Therapy card, which is part of the Holistic Trauma Healing card deck. And I'll be doing videos on the 88 cards in the deck. You can find out more about it below in the description.